Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker, presenting a tea for you to try, to consider, to explore. This may be one that you've never tried before. There are so many teas out there. It's really impossible to say that you have tried them all. So it gives you a lot of new opportunities to find things that you may have never experienced before. And we'll see if this one gives us anything new. I've put in enough tea to cover the bottom of my 3-ounce gaiwan. Let me close that up. I'm going to get back into it very soon, but kind of lock in that. It's always good to lock in freshness as much as possible. Water's been brought to an early boil, started to rumble a little bit, but I'm going to add it slowly and carefully, but also making sure that no dry portions of leaves or partially dry leaves are floating on the top of the water. That looks good. Get this out of the way. Put the lid on and let that sit for a moment. Introduce this tea to you. This is from DrinkTheLeaf. This is their CloudAndMist. Chinese for those two words, cloud and mist, are Yunwu. You can get 2 ounces. That is on their site for $7.50. And this is from the Huangshan, the Yellow Mountain area of Zhejiang province in China. Now, as far as Yunwu, I probably one of the more famous, or if not the most famous, is Lushan Yunwu. Lushan is a separate mountain, completely different province. But I have also seen Yunwus from other locations. It's that concept that these are high elevation green tea, generally green teas. I've never seen a black or oolong labeled as a Yunwu. So it's a green tea from a high elevation, so that the clouds give a covering, and there's no determinate time period at which how long the clouds shade or cover or block out the sun. And that process is supposed to bring out a richer, more chlorophyll type, greener, more nuanced tea. So we'll see if that holds true in this particular case. To start off, of course, we want to talk about the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and the liquor, starting with the dry. So let me open this up again, give it a smell here. It's funny, there was something almost whiskey-like in this. My nose must be off. But underneath that, still there. But underneath it, there are some green components to this. There's almost kind of ever so gentle type of sweet pea flower, English pea type of flower, sweet pea flower. Faint, very faint, kind of a sweet. White almond. I mean, there's no. Imagine the skin is off. Imagine it's a nice, fresh, that almond type of smell. It's nice, and there's a hint of that. So it's got the green. It's got a little bit of that almond kind of note. Let me scoop some of this out, because what you'll see here is you've got some nice kind of curly, squiggly, but still tightly wrapped along the length of the leaf, along the length of the leaf, the vein, so that you have portions that are 1 inch to 1.5 inches in length, some smaller, here and there. And I'm going to say, just in this little scoop here, looking down, perhaps 10%. Is a white or silvery type of color, fuzzy. So those are tips there. I'm going to most of these, because they're so tightly wrapped, they look like they're individual leaves, not sets. 2-leaf and bud type sets. A fairly deep green, moving over towards kind of a silvery gray green. So let me set that aside and get to the pouring aspect here, so we can then move it to the wet leaf and the liquor. Angle my lid over to the side, put my index finger on top, hold the sides there, and pour, just like so. shake those last few drops out as well, because a lot of of course, your most potent, your strongest tea liquor there is down at the bottom, in contact with the leaves that have sunk to the bottom there. So that's good. Set that to the side for just one moment and give these wet leaves a smell. I'm going to give these a shake first and a smell here. First thing that hit me, with a lot of greens, Chinese greens, you can get a kind of boiled green bean type of smell, but not so with this one. This one was a bit more of a toasty aspect, was the first thing that hit me. So let me kind of let this cool, let the air move around in there and see what other flavors kind of unfold, or aromas I should say. Okay, getting a little bit more of a kind of a sweet, fresh, but boiled corn. There's a kind of a sweetness there. Something on the verge, again, of a little bit of that sweet, that almond kind of note that was in the dry leaf, beginning to come out as more of a kind of a still an almond or almost toasted almond type note. So those are pleasant aromas coming off there. Let me clear off some of the pieces here and pull out a few of the leaf portions here, or leaves, wet leaves to look at. Okay, so I cleared off portions, and of course, what is the first thing I grab is a leaf portion. This is the lower half of the leaf, maybe a third to a half of it. Some of this stem immediately coming off the bottom of the leaf there. Let's see what else we can find. Upper portion and or a leaf, a needle there. I mean a tip, a bud that was broken off. That's what that is. So it's got more of a greenish type of yellow color to it. Look, kind of delicate, a little less than an inch maybe. What else? Pull off another here. Here's another one that looks to be an entire leaf. It was recently a bud, but it looks like it had just kind of transitioned to a new delicate leaf, tender leaf there. It looks nice. It still kind of sticks together. At a glance, I'm also noticing a little bit here and there some oxidation, some brown streaks where there was a crush, there was a crinkle, there was something that caused a little bit of oxidation type browning to take place. But for the most part, bright green, consistently clear there, so that's good. Let me set that down and move on to the liquor here, because that is a rich, deep yellow green type of color there. Okay, not murky or cloudy. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a pour and a smell. The boiled corn is really jumping out right now. That's what's coming to the fore. Sweet, freshly boiled summer corn. So it's pleasant. It's not overly vegetable yet. So let's go ahead and give it a taste here. Again, good color looking into the cup, not cloudy. Good consistent reflection, kind of shine there. It's probably got some good strength to it. This is the kind of tea that I try to steep them consistently across different teas to see how they perform under the same conditions. This one came out quite strong with that temperature and that steeping time. So there is some astringency there. It's not harsh. You could tone back on some of that steep time or lower your water temperature to moderate some of that astringency, but it is there. And it's relatively fleeting because it hits. It gives a nice kind of coating on the mouth, on the tongue, top of the tongue. And then it moves to, like I said, that sweetness there. This is like having bitten into nice, fresh, sweet piece of corn on the cob. That seems to be where this is going. Not a lot of harsh bitterness though. It does rest underneath and back of the tongue for a few seconds, but the aftertaste compensates for that. It begins to wash it away, wear that kind of sensation away fairly quickly. Other characteristics or other aromas. It does pick up a little bit more toastiness as it cools. I generally find that a green tea, as it cools a little bit, not too hot, as that temperature starts to fall a little bit more elements can come out, and so I'm getting a bit of a toasted nut kind of element, or something between a toasted nut and maybe a toasted rice. That toasted rice element is coming out a little, but again, it's underneath that sweetly and boiled corn on the cob. Looking at this tea, you have to kind of put it in the department of other yunwus. Compared to other yunwus, not as much complexity, a little more punch in the astringent realm. At the same time, it does have some nice sweetness to it. And upon recollection, I would have to say that this one has a bit longer sweetness to it than some of the others I've tasted. I'm going to give this tea a 91 because, again, you can have some of that harshness, you can have some of that astringent bite to it, but the sweet aftertaste makes up for that, and that's what I'm getting here. So come back to Walker Tea Review so that you can find those teas that have that may start off a little questionable, but then kind of move towards something more rewarding.